Hello, Par. Or should I say Parvision?
I don't know. I always start like that. See.
Yeah, long time no vision. We got chapter 1115, Continental Fragments. Not the most pretty chapter.
Are you going
title.
with that? You're going
Wait,
with 1115. You're gonna stick with that structure of not like 1115 or 1115,
I usually do 1115.
Yeah, like I don't know. All of them sound so awkward. You know what I mean? Like
we're getting too long, or we're getting too far along in the series. Oda needs to just end it. This is getting too ridiculous now.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, also like this chapter kind of felt like it. This chapter low key. I forgot what page it was, but when he said something, I was just like, "Oh, it's over, guys. Good, say goodbye to the stream."
Yeah, there's too much information, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Oda's
the series is getting too crazy.
Chapters. Yeah, the next because also just like the continental fragments, right? Like you reading that when I read it too, I kind of in the stream, I kind of just I just read it and then I didn't like absorb it, but then later on I was like, continental fragments already just sounds like the basis for a lot of theories, like there's so many theories that exist that if they titled the continental fragments or they mentioned it, they got a W just off the title. So, and that sounds like a world building shattering kind of detail right in
You're right.
Title.
It sounds like a YouTuber like title, you know what I mean? For like a theory video.
Yeah. Maybe Oda's shouting out a specific YouTuber.
Oh, there was that one guy recently. I think his name's Johnny Somali. Maybe it's a shout to him.
Why do you?
I don't know.
Why did you bring him up?
I always tied back to Johnny Somali.
Is he paying for these shout outs? Like what?
Yeah, you know it. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, like Johnny's getting either. We're getting supported or he's getting supported. I don't know who's the bigger YouTuber at this point, we got some big boss clout going on.
I feel like whenever we bring up the number 1115 or like the titles that we've been getting lately, I feel like we're the guys at Mocktown just laughing at Vegapunk's message.
Oh like, yeah, that's like
this
they're
is
my
ridiculous.
They're literally my favorite group.
They're reoccurring.
Yeah, awesome. And to me, that's because like they just fit everything. It's called Mocktown. They're mocking them, but they're also like, I think they're the closest people in the world to like me and you. Looking at the news like,
last chapter we started off with those guys just laughing at Vegapunk like, oh, what a loser. And then in this chapter they're squeezed in the middle too. You have Marines, which you skip it ahead a little bit, but Marines are like, oh my god, Vegapunk, no way, water's rising 200 meters. And then you have the guys that Mocktown like, did you hear that? His tails are getting taller. It's so good. Oh, I love those bozos.
Yeah, Mocktown's my favorite. And you're right, like right after the Marines, what did the Marines say? Was it at the beginning or was it at the end where they were just like, wait, isn't that us? We're the wool government. And then the other part the other part was just like, stop listening to this trash. And then the Mocktown people are like, haha, big guy, big head, look at him go.
I will admit, the Mocktown people seem like a great group of guys to hang out with. Like, do you remember when Luffy first showed up there and he was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go to Sky Island? I'd be laughing at him too. Dude, imagine you're hanging out with the boys, you're drinking, it's like 3 a.m. and then some little kid walks in like, guys, I'm gonna go to Sky Island and find the One Piece. Yeah, I would be throwing beers too. It would be so funny.
And then, but to be like, to contextualize it too, these guys didn't mess with Bellamy that much either. When Bellamy did all of his stuff, they were just like, damn,
they weren't a part of his crew.
Yeah, they were like, yo, this guy's a little
I'll take whatever he's having, guys.
Yeah, like these guys are mocking them, but then when like shit went down, they're like, yo, that's not us. That's Bellamy. That's different. But I don't know if you noticed that one, like in the middle of it, the most random like Giga Chad dude. Did you see that in the Mocktown panel?
In the Mocktown panel? And I know
because we on your Twitch stream, we were like analyzing like Baki versus Kengan Ashura.
Oh my god.
You see it, right?
Well, I don't see the buff guy, but the guy in the middle to the left, that's Roshio.
Roshio from what?
That's Roshio, the guy that Bellamy kicked out of a window and set on fire.
Wait, what?
You don't know about him?
No, I don't know.
Roshio the Executioner. He has like a 50 million berry bounty, dude.
Oh my god, 50 million?
Yeah, that's Roshio the Executioner. I didn't even notice him.
It is!
Yes, dude, it's mother freaking Roshio. Oh, to bring him back. Dude, now, I feel like a bum. I didn't see him.
Yeah, I noticed him, but I didn't recognize him. Wait, he got his hand stabbed by Bellamy.
He got his hand stabbed, and then he got thrown out a window, and then Bellamy set him on fire. And then
that was in the anime.
No, that was in the manga. It was so brutal that the anime had to cover it up. So they changed it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. Bellamy, dude, he was like a form of censorship, dude, what Bellamy did to this guy. God dang.
Oh, yeah,
but yeah. He's alive, dude.
Okay.
Dang. Yeah, Roshio. Brother, Roshio's back. Why is he still at Jaya 2 years later?
I don't know.
Maybe he was recovering.
He's the only one not mocking Vegapunk, which is like, he does not belong there. We would kick him out of our bar.
What's his bounty?
42.
Oh, 42. Damn. Yeah, I said 50 mil. I knew it was around there. 42 is not bad. What's up?
Well, you know, we have to give the One Piece Wiki just one more day, but if they don't correct it by tomorrow, then they're not better than the Vision.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna slap their wrist. It says he's dead, doesn't it?
Yeah, it says he's dead.
One Piece Wiki, what are you doing, dude? Hell.
Like they don't realize they got me fact checking every minute, the most random page. This page probably has one view in the last like 15 years, and it's me.
Yeah, they don't know that the Vision boys are gonna fact check them.
Yeah, we're gonna put them on blast on Twitter. Ha! It's you mean to tell me the One Piece Wiki missed Roshio?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I bet those bums still say that Captain Kidd is unalived, right? When he's obviously in this chapter.
Bro,
so
I can't believe I saw them. I did not register that panel. Like when I was reading it, I was like, "What am I looking at?" I didn't even understand.
Demalo Black panel.
Yeah, because they wrote Demalo Black in like the black on black text. So I didn't even register that as text. I was like, "What? What happened to Kid?"
Who is this guy? Kid, what happened? It's like he got the Gecko Moria treatment. You know how like Moria lost it? It got really big. That's literally him.
Like, I think this is the most like confused I was in all the entire stream. I was just like, what?
Yeah, it wasn't the continental fragments that got you. It was Demalo Black.
Yeah, because I was like, why are they at the G4 base?
I'm crying.
And then I was like, what happened to Kid?
Ooh.
And then I see like this blob of text, and I think it was at the bottom of my screen, so half of it was cut off too. And I was like, oh, and then it all clicked, like because the news said the Kid was dead. So then he's like, perfect, another big name to take to impersonate. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to talk about Demalo Black. Here, let's go and finish that cover story real quick. We got Yamato. We got who's that loser? Otoko and Hiyori. And they're making Yamato a little bento box, and it's cool. I love it. You know, we don't want to rag on Wano too hard. We do that every single week. Imagine that becomes a reoccurring segment. Every week we spend an hour just making fun of Wano. We can't do that. As much as people would love it, we can't do that here.
We love
Wano.
I love talking about the cover stories. I love mentioning things, but this one I was like, yep. This is cool. Look at that honey in the back, and then I kept it moving.
Yeah. There's not too much to like extrapolate from this, right? Like we got onigiri, we got some Odin in the box, which is pretty cool. Yamato smiling. I mean, that's about it.
The only thing I was like, is that a map in the back, like on the top, like like a stylized map? And I was like, you know how sometimes I forget if it's like a real thing or this is a meme thing, but there was like old churches that had like big paintings, and then we found out that they were hiding like the real painting in the back, and so like there was like so much history that was covered up through the art and stuff like that. And now with this like 200-year or 200-meter thing. Yeah, wait, you haven't seen
wait, churches do that? Like back in the day, like they had like real art and hidden artwork?
Yeah. Let's church hidden art behind
church hidden art.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Church
hidden painting
art.
of Church St. George. There we go.
Yeah, okay, so well that's Reddit though. But I mean I still believe it though. Let me see.
They had like a St. George and the Dragon.
Yeah,
but
what
like
the heck? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
That looks, yeah. And there was like another one too, not just that one where it was just like, there was like, you know how like we restore paintings and then like when they do the analysis, they can see how many layers of paint there is, but that's hard to do for like murals like that are like on the ceiling. But apparently there was a few that had that done to them, and we saw that there was like underneath it there was an entirely different kind of picture, and I think it was like less like gory or something like that. I don't remember.
I don't know why.
Like more evil.
But now that we're talking about like crazy paintings, have you seen the painting of who's the guy from Europe, like King George?
Sure.
Wait, have you seen his painting?
Oh, the one on fire.
Yeah, the one where he's like all red and on fire.
I think the best part was
so crazy.
Was it his wife, or I think it was his wife that was just like, "Oh, you captured him perfectly."
Yeah, and then it looks like he's straight out of hell.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
so
know.
Funny. That's like the best piece of news that came out of the last week.
If the artist was like intentionally trying to send a message out there, but he got the message out. We all got the message. I don't know if they did.
You know, all those like conspiracy theorists that are like, oh, the upper echelon are all like demons and, you know, Satan worshippers.
Lizard
like this didn't do them any favors. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like they're not escaping the allegations with this painting, right? Like, I mean, come on.
If you guys haven't seen the painting either, like my One Piece brain got sparked because in between like the background of flames and stuff, there's like letters, and I was like, yo, there's secret messages in this for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those guys who's like, you know, like, oh, like if you flip this image and distort it and you get this thing over here, like I'm not one of those guys, but I have seen videos where people just simply flip it and then mirror it, and then it's like there's like a goat head in the middle. It's like, that's crazy, dude. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Like, you can find so many weird, like, hidden things in that image. And it's like, do they know what they were doing? Or, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a cool picture, though. Like, I mean, if I were ever to get immortalized as a painting, I would want it to be like that. I think it's pretty BA, but for a not a prime minister, I don't even know what he is. But a king, a prince, a monarch, yeah, like, it's really strange. It would almost make you think that he would be like the next coming of like Hitler or something.
He's definitely a holy knight. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
He's like it's like celestial dragon energy. It's like, damn, dude. Okay.
Yeah, and it's real. Like the other first thought that comes to mind in 2024 is this AI, and it's like, nope.
I thought it was fake. Yeah, I thought it was a fake thing. I thought it was a fake news story, but it was real.
Yeah, the artist took credit. It's been posted by the royal.
It was on the news. It was a live stream. It's like, damn, okay. Yeah, they're full sending this one.
Yep. No, we're just gonna let that one rock.
Speaking of sending, they're sending Yamato on this journey, and brother, we are gonna spend a lot of time with Yamato if we're seeing preparations for the journey. Yeah, we're gonna be with Yamato for a minute, dude.
Oh, is this preparations, or did Yamato
this is just preparations?
Ah, that makes sense.
Because Hiyori and Otoko live in the capital.
You're right.
We didn't even leave, brother. We didn't leave the front door.
I just assumed this is the first stop, and like Hiyori's just out there with the Otoko, because the Otoko's not allowed in the castle. That peasant, you joking,
dude? Imagine letting Toko in the house. You're gonna hear constant laughing. You know, like,
they have to keep her. So bad. You're not allowed to step foot. No, yo, imagine they you know how like the smile users were like in like a town outside. You weren't allowed in Flower Capital. Almost. Yeah. Like, what if they just kept that like even after?
Oh, I think they did. Right? Like I forget what town it was. It wasn't Bakura town. No, that's the town of Leftover. No, Ibisu? Yeah, it's Bakura town. No, Ibisu. Yeah. It's
Yeah, one of
Ibisu
them.
town. Ibisu
Or
town was the port
Okabore.
town. Ibisu, Okabore. You know, hear about this part. Instead of just the village with the
Yeah.
laughing people, let's keep all of them out of the flower capital.
Okabore,
I'll do
I
one
think,
better.
was where I think they burned it down, and that's where Kinemon's wife is from, I think. And Ibisu is the one with the smile users. I'm forgetting, but
Yeah.
I think that was the case.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and yo, it's messed up. Imagine they're just like, yeah, you know, we couldn't help you, smile users, and we can't tolerate your constant laughing.
Yeah, you
so you're not
guys
allowed
just
in the
stay in your
capital."
lane. If you laugh too much, go over there, buddy.
Yeah. Like this is where you get like subtle rules, like in society, where like formal events or something, like you put a sign, no laughing allowed. It's not outright segregating them, but it's like, oh, we can't laugh in here. You
Or
know?
you throw up like the Doflamingo Jolly Roger, where it's like the laughing face with an X over it. Put that on your poster, like no laughing people here.
Dude, that'd be great. Dang.
Like imagine
Doflamingo, he laughs a
if
lot.
you lived in Wano and like let's say you and your wife were getting married. You're already married, but let's say you're getting married a second time or something. Would you invite the laughing people to your wedding if they weren't like immediate family?
Yeah, I mean,
You wouldn't
Wait,
invite
if
them,
they-
right?
I would. Wait, what?
You
Hold
would?
on. Yeah, what's wrong with laughing people? Some people say I'm a smile user.
See, I get the opposite. I have like an RBF, so like I just, I walk around and people are like, "Yo, Sai's in a bad mood." It's like, "Nah, dude, this is my face."
Yeah,
You know, like
I have
outside of
that
the
too.
videos, I'm just like,
That's not rested. Wait, that's crazy censorship. RBF. I've never heard someone say. Like,
I don't. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say RBF back in the day.
really?
Yeah, nobody
Oh,
really
back in the
uses
day?
the
Before we
the,
invented words, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Nobody uses the acronym nowadays, but back in 2012, it was popular.
Yeah, back in the
Trying to bring it back.
2010s. Ooh.
Yeah,
Bring it back.
in the 2010s. It's 2024, Par. We're getting older. Time's changing, man.
It's funny you say that because
Today's
I was fine.
my birthday
with-
even.
Oh yeah, it is. Wait, are you doxing it or? Well, you did it last year.
Well, nobody's gonna know when we record this though. They're just like, oh, it's May.
Okay, so
Like,
wait,
what if
should
we're
I say-
recording this in the beginning of May, for example?
Should I say happy?
No.
birthday?
Don't let the
Just
age
cut
out
it
though.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh
Well,
no, I'm
let's-
not gonna say your age.
Oh, you can say happy birthday though.
Oh yeah, happy
Yeah,
birthday,
hey,
Sai.
thank you. Hey, appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry, I remembered that it was today. I actually did. My wife reminded me.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
That's
because
crazy.
I told her last year, and then she's just like, "Hey,
She marked
you know
on the
whose birthday's
calendar.
coming up." No, she did. She does that all the time, and so I was just like, "Are you serious? I don't even remember when it is." And she's like, "Yeah, I just you tell me all." Because like my problem is, me and my friends, we don't really talk. Like me and my best friends, like they didn't know I had a kid until I had a kid, and so my wife goes above and beyond to help me keep my relationships up with my friends. And so yeah, so,
It's like slime isekai. You got like Raphael speaking in your ear. Like, notice, birthday coming up.
Yeah, literally that. The angel in my ear
Yeah.
telling me like, "Yo, be a good friend."
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what every the laughing person in Wano needs. Like, notice, walk
A
away from the
goddess
situation or you're gonna be executed.
that'd be hacks if we had. I mean, punk records is supposed to be like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
I would hate for it to be one of the Vegapunks to be in my ear, though. I would probably disconnect if Vegapunk was in my ear. Just
Well, if it's Shaka, that wouldn't be bad.
okay, yeah.
Shaka has
yeah.
like a good voice. He's not like erratic. He's logical. Shaka would be a nice AI voice.
Yeah, but none of the other ones, I don't think.
Yeah, I like Lilith, but she would get really annoying after a while.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
hey,
the
let's
point,
kill this
yeah.
person. Like, oh, plunder. It's like, okay,
It's like,
Lilith,
all
calm
right,
down.
all right,
Yeah,
chill out,
calm
chill
down,
out, yeah.
dude. Calm down.
I don't need this much, Just,
Yeah.
just stay, just give me Shaka. It's good. It's good. But when I was looking at the cover story, right? I went by really quickly, and I was like, cool. And again, it was a similar thing that you said, where I was like, Wano. I love to see it. let's keep it in the cover pages. I kind of like verbatim said that, and then I scrolled to the chapter. I was like, huh? What do you mean Wano?
Oh yeah. First page we got Wano. Isn't that crazy? Like I remember reading the spoilers. I was like, yo, this is like Whiplash. Like, you know, I was ready to go somewhere else and pivot, and then we come back to Wano. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I forget how I ended the cover story thing. I was like, oh, we got enough of Wano here. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And then
no more Wano talk, guys. We're out. First page you got all Wano.
I think exactly what I said. I was like, no, there's not much to see here. We're just in Wano. We just got the things. Hopefully next cover story is cool. I'd love to see Yamato more, blah, blah, blah. And now let's move on to Egghead. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean the flower capital?
You're like Kaito from the English dub. He's like, Nani? You remember that?
Are they how far is the English dub in?
The English dub, I think they just beat Kaito. They're at the Wano celebration, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think the One Piece dub wants to get to the point where they like air side by side weekly. That's why they're like they're amping it up really fast.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that'd
be cool.
Crazy.
If we get the English dub weekly, I'd probably watch it alongside the Japanese, to be honest. Because I actually like the English dub. I'm not one of those like anime purists where I'm like, oh, sub only. Like I actually watch both, believe it or not, for all my favorite anime.
Now the line's blurred because it's like the problem wasn't the dubbing like now. It was the dubbing back in the day when there was five dudes
like 4
dubbing
kids
every single series. And if you wanted to like Naruto, I forget, like every series had the same character that was voiced by the 5 main dudes, and like you just hear them across the entire series. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that alongside with the lack of available talent was the ceiling of that talent, which is what something Japan had, you know, had practiced for years prior and developed, which is why it was great. I would say there's still probably a little bit, not a little bit, there's like a difference of, you know, whatever, but hearing a lot of the recent dubs, it's not as bad. Like people complaining about dubs now, it's not the same level, or
it's not as substantiated as people back in the past.
Yeah. I saw videos talking, like they put a bunch of lineups. I was like, wow, this is like these dubs are actually surprising. And at the very end of the clip, they did Whitebeard's voice. I'm like, okay, hold on. There's nothing wrong with the guy did great. It was just the I feel like the casting was off a little bit, because like the Whitebeard was supposed to sound like more like the strongest man alive, not like this ancient old dude that just like had his last
just an old fossil.
Yeah. So it wasn't the guy's fault. It was just the casting context of Whitebeard.
Have you? Wait. Have you ever watched through the entire 4Kids dub of One Piece?
I watched the dub up until like Skypiea, I think.
Well, there's 2 versions of the dub. There's the Funimation dub, which is what they're running with right now. But there's also the 4Kids dub, where everyone's voice actor was super cursed.
Yeah, I did whatever the original, like that a long time ago. I did all that until like wherever they ended.
The problem is they aired at the same time.
Maybe I got a mixture then.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because one of them I think aired on like WB or something, and then the other one aired on Toonami and not Adult Swim, but you know. Yeah, I just Toonami, Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Okay, so I got probably mainly the Toonami experience.
Because the 4Kids version is the one where we have like the Australian Shanks, the super French Mihawk.
What about the Sanji? Is that the Jersey Sanji?
Yeah, the Jersey. Hey guys, you know, like how about I cook you some food? You know, like, oh damn. Yeah. Dude, I wish they kept up the 4Kids dub, because it was just so funny at that point. Like everybody was just the stereotype.
It was like a sanctioned abridged version of like, not like like they didn't abridge it, but it was like the quality of an abridged series.
And the best part is that for some reason they ran with the 4Kids dub for One Piece, to where the One Piece video games that got brought here to America, they were also dubbed by 4Kids and not Funimation for some reason. So it's like, wait, what is going on here?
It was the Wild West.
Yeah, Wild West. Just like Wano.
Just like
those damn samurai. Let me tell you. But yeah, we see Momonosuke. He's eating some, I believe, some skewers, dongo. Not too sure what it is. Yeah, dango, dongo. Kinemon's in the background. We see Shinobu. We got Orochi's Den Mushi. Love to see it, man. I mean, Orochi finally coming in with a big W. Momonosuke says, "Hey, you are a pirate too, Joy Boy, just like Luffy." And then, classic Oda fashion, doesn't really expand on that conversation, you know. Momonosuke, Yamato, they have a lot of information about Joy Boy since they read Odin's journal, but we're never going to see it. I mean, maybe one day we will, but as of right now, whenever they mention Odin's journal, we just cut right past it, right? It's so sad.
Is it? Okay, see, this is a long-standing agenda, and, you know, people can say what they want. But for me, if I'm going after the One Piece, right? Like, there's Rayleigh who has all the information. I think you said, like, yeah, maybe I'd listen to it, right? Whether I listen to it or not, I would 100% Shirahoshi, Momo, Yamato. They have information that, like, they know 100%. The whole thing? Like, that's straight up, like, lock them up. Interrogate
lock them up, interrogate them, you know, point a gun at their head, which they don't have to because we're friends with them, but, you know, I would ask. And the thing is, you could say Momonosuke doesn't know the full story, and that is true, but you gotta imagine, Odin has a journal this thick, right? He's only, they said it, they're only missing the last page. Like, if you have a storybook in front of you, and you have 99% of the story, I'm sure you could, like, make theories about that missing 1%. Like, I'm sure the entire lore dump isn't on the final page. So yeah, I think Momonosuke has a good idea what the hell is going on.
You just proposed an interesting hypothetical. Do you think that, like, all of the community, the chapter before the Laugh Tale reveal, what the treasure is, do you think that the community before the chapter comes out will unanimously agree?
Unanimously, no. I don't think the community can ever unanimously agree on something.
Do you think it'll be so... Like, if it's just a chapter before, out of 1,000+ chapters, if we're right before Laugh Tale, do you think the chapter before, at least, at that point, a majority of us would come and agree on one thing?
I think it would be split. Like, maybe like 25, 25, 25, 25. That's how I see it, which is the best chances that any of us could get with One Piece, right? Yeah. I think a quarter of people out there will know what the One Piece is the chapter before. I think that's pretty solid. It's like because, like, Gear Fit, that was a hard one to predict. I think, like, there was somebody out there who actually had a very correct theory about what Gear Fit was and what Luffy's Devil Fruit was in the first place, but you know, that's a hard one to do. But as far as the One Piece, I feel like we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, with the Gear 5, the way I look at it, like, there was a lot of theories, and each theory, like the good theories, the people that theories like, there was always a component in all of them that ended up being correct. And, like, from memory, I don't think a single person got all of it right. Like, if you got the name of it, there was, like, I think there was like a few people that were like, yeah, it's gonna be Sun God Nika, right? But the visuals of it weren't, like, besides the silhouette, the all white and things like that wasn't there. I think like the all white one, like, some people would have gotten if they went like the resin route, right? Like, oh, he's actually like a Logia type or that kind of thing. Yeah, he's
transparent. So, he's translucent.
Yeah, so he's actually just this white stuff that comes out of trees, and so that's going to be his true form. And, like, yeah, they were kind of, on the appearance, they were more correct. And then there's the other people who are, like, the abilities. Like, some people got, like, he would be able to rubberize everything around him, including other people. But then you don't get the name or you don't get the thing. And I feel like there was a cross section where if you got like all these theories and combined them, you would have got the right answer. I feel like Laugh Tale is going to be like that, except it's harder to say that because we know a lot of the theories. There's some that have like a core and like they have to perpetuate this history, the memory. So there's a bit like there's a common chord there, but then we see the theories span out to like wildly. Some people think it's a clock, some people think it's a banquet food type of thing, some people think it's sake, some people think it's an afro. And so it's like if there's a split there, it's not the same thing to say, oh, like they were all right because it was like they all perpetuated the memory. That's to me different than like the Gear 5 stuff. So it's like at Laughtail, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that believe like Afro banquet, this, that, and
ooh, we should start like starting like gang wars with theories by that point, you know? Like
I mean if it doesn't exist, I would be baffled. But like, it's crazy that there's no like betting pool.
You dirty party man, dirty picture guy, sake man. Yeah.
When we get closer, there's gonna be betting pools, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Who's gonna be the guy who takes the jackpot?
I mean, it's the same thing with, I'd say, most theories in general. Like, have you ever watched like Hell's Kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
They have a challenge called Taste It Now Make It, where they bring all the chefs in there, like 4 or 5 by that point. It's like the finalists. And they're like, hey, like, taste this food and then recreate it. You know, just the ingredients are in the kitchen, pick whatever you want. And then all the chefs go around, and then when we start judging them, turns out, like, you know, all the chefs are correct in some aspect of it. Like, oh, this guy has the right sauce, but he doesn't have the right protein. They have the right protein, but they have the wrong side vegetable. It's like that. That's how I view most theories, and I think that's pretty fine. Like, everybody has something that they kind of got right, something they got wrong. But if you mix all them together, you'll see like the grand picture. You'll see the grand scheme of things, and that's how it is. Even with this chapter, right? Continental shifts. I think a lot of people already were under the assumption that the world of One Piece is a little bit wacky, right? The Red Line, the islands, Pangea, like everybody had some sort of idea that one way or another tied into this chapter. But nobody was like 100% correct with like, oh, the rising waters, you know, 200 meters and all that stuff. But, you know, like if you just take those small parts of theories, yeah, people got the sprinkle of the truth in there, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, I think what's crazy about this chapter, not to skip too ahead, was the specificity. I didn't think that Oda would specify to the point that like the way he did it at this point, like on my stream, I was open. I was like, this is kind of interesting because it's like, it's a little weird. And I think I told you, but like I had, between you and Dax, I said like something along the lines of the One Piece world, the way it looks now, I think this was a result of whatever happened in the past, meaning like the floodwater didn't go past this point, which that part, you know, sprinkled in the truth. But like the reason why I was against like a crazy amount of flooding, like to the point where, you know, so much would change. I was against that because there was a few context clues between like pirate finding treasure at the bottom of the floor, Nolan's story about people sinking and finding treasure, just finding things that are really close in the water, period. But like, there's a whole context. But then Oda hit us with the specification. And I'm like, okay, it's like so little that it could work, but like it's also not a lot that like it's weird. And then the girl says it in the thing. She goes like, oh, 200 meters, that's like the size of that mountain. And I said it on stream and people were like, wait, no, it's still a lot. I was like, that's not a mountain, that's a hill. Because 200 meters. And then you know, I looked it up. I was like, there's no way I'm wrong on this. And I looked it up. It's not a mountain. Classification wise, 300 meters is a class 7. That's the lowest class of mountain, 300 meters.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Like, 200 meters is only 650 feet.
Yeah, and so like on stream, I was memeing about. I was like 200 meters. Like what I said was, Oda being specific is crazy here because that means that he has like some like we already know that Fishman Island's 10,000 meters down, 10,000 meters up the sky. Saying 200 meters specifically this early when he didn't even need to do it, he could have just said like, you know, an estimated amount of like, I don't know, 3 warships. I don't know. He could have just said something vague. He didn't even give a specific measurement. And he did. So that tells me that like he has like the larger picture already designed, like the blueprints for it and everything. So that's where I was like, okay. But then on the other side, I was like, all right, we're just going to call this a mountain. Like where they said like, oh, our ship is 60 meters. And then I'm looking at the Viking ship. That would be the amount of water that was height, and 200 meters is a lot. Like we would get owned. Like I think it's like 90% of humanity would have to move or die if 200 meters hit us. But like in the One Piece, I'm like, wait, isn't that just like that ship right there? And then the girl had the audacity to hit me on stream. It's like, look at that mountain, it's 200 meters. I was like, shut up, little girl, that's a hill. Like,
you know, it's funny you say that because I had the exact opposite reaction, to be honest. Like when that little girl said, oh, that's the size of the hill, I was like, holy crap. Like you were over here making fun of the little girl, but deep down for me, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, that's a mountain. Like I was like, the One Piece world is doomed. So yeah, I was actually on the opposite boat when it came to that.
I was like, this little girl has no idea what
that's me. Stop making fun of the little girl. She's speaking what I'm thinking.
I'm like, 200 meters? If someone told me to go on a hike, 200 meters is like, so you want me to walk up a hill with you? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, to be fair, let me see. How many? Yeah. No, go.
But like, it like in my mind, it was just naturally, I was like, that's not a mountain. And then, the classifications of it is 300 meters.
It's not even a mile. And that's the
smallest.
I had to look. I feel dumb looking this up, but I looked up how many feet are in a mile. And do you know the answer?
It's like 3,000. How many feet are in a mile, right? 3,000 something, right?
Dude, it's 5,300.
5,000. Damn it.
Yeah.
The customary what's it called? The customary measurement? Whatever the Americans
customary measurement. I don't think that's it.
Yeah, the garbage, dude.
Oh, custodial.
The garbage.
Custodial measurements.
No, it's not.
No, because you said it's garbage.
Oh, yeah.
I twisted it a little bit, Par.
But for the record, like, the Mount Everest is like 8,500 meters.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mount Everest is like 8,000 meters or something. And then, so that's the tallest mountain, obviously. So we're not expecting that much, but
yeah, Mount Everest is 8,848 meters tall.
800. Okay. So like that's
Fishman Island Everest is further down than that is further up.
And you know, I'm not saying it needs to be a class 1 mountain, but we're not even at class 7 mountain. They were pretty. When I looked at the scaling, I was like, yo, they're pretty generous with these mountain scalings.
I will admit, when we heard the 200 meter thing, I did have to like look up Fishman Island because I was curious. I was like, wait, like how deep is Fishman Island? Fishman Island's, like you said, 10,000 meters below. So adding 200 meters is like nothing to those guys.
Yeah.
That was like a typical Sunday, dude.
Like,
just rained a little bit.
We could continue on with the chapter because it's like when we see the visuals of Oda showing, it's interesting. But then the 200 meters, I'm like, like what is Oda really doing with that? Yeah,
like he has something, like you said, he has something in mind, giving us such a specific measurement like that.
Yeah, like it almost feels like Oda has like a math equation that he wants to like complete, like kind of how it's like a random fun fact is that the moon, or I forget what it is, it's like the sun is like 400 moons wide or something like that, but because the ratio of but the moon is 400 times closer to us than the sun, and because of that exact ratio, that's how we're allowed to get a solar eclipse with the moon perfectly covering the sun. And our moon is the only moon in our entire solar system where that's possible. So it's like maybe Oda's doing that weird thing where he's trying to get something perfectly lined up, and so 200 just spat out of the equation, you have to work with it. But like that's something like conspiracy theorists runs with, like, oh, you're telling me the earth and the moon and the sun's perfectly 400 ratio away, it's a simulation, we're gonna blah 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 blah. And like I get that, but in the One Piece where I was like 200 meters, that's so, I don't know, like is Oda gonna, because, like, what is Oars? Oars is like 160 meters. Like, it's just like a little bit taller than Oars. It's like Dory sitting on Oars' shoulder, I think. That's how deep the water is. Which paints a very interesting picture for... Oh, no, Oars is 67 meters. So 3 oars. Yeah. 3 oars. That's kind of big. That is kind of big. But it's also not big. Like... It's like big, but also like not big. But it is big. Oars is big.
I mean, 200... Like you said, 200 meters would kill us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, less than that would kill us. Like, we would... Yeah. I would be...
Dude,
no, where I'm at right now...
Put me in a kiddie pool, I'd die.
You would... Actually, no, you would be fine because you're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
Yeah, it would take like a deranged amount of circumstances for you to be actually wait, hold on, where no Oklahoma is pretty central, never mind. I was gonna say like
well, we're literally dead center in America.
I was gonna say there could be like this crazy like valley that just pools all the water to Oklahoma and you just randomly screwed.
Yeah,
Oklahoma turns into a lake. It could be that.
Hate to see it. Hey, it would be nice to be a fisherman though.
True. That did shock me when you said you really like fishing, and I was like, wait a second, he's from Oklahoma. What does that mean?
We have lakes, okay? I'm all about the lakes.
Yeah. Wait, do they replenish your fish? Like, do they do that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They replenish fish, and they'll even like if you have like a little pond in your front yard, they'll also fill that up too.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those. I saw like there's like a fish farm that like replenishes fish up north in New York, and I was like, dang, that's so crazy. Or sometimes I think they just let them go downstream or something, but then I think there was like a truck that flipped over and all the fish just kind of
oh god, they just died on the road.
No, I think there was a delivery to another river, and like half of them made it into that river on like just by miracle.
Just overpopulation now.
Well, like they were going to, another truck was going to that river, and en route the truck going to a different river flipped over into the other river, and so I think they just rerouted the fish because they're like, we got half in that river on accident. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who should have went one place but ended up in another, we got Demalo Black. And instead of ending up in Impel Down, these losers got put in Marine Base G4's prison, which is a brand new Marine base, by the way. We have not seen G4 before.
No, it's not though.
Yeah, yeah. G14 is next to Egghead.
Because I was gonna say, what if they are the reinforcements that Luffy needs?
Imagine they break out because everybody's like going to Egghead. They're like, it's our time to escape, boss.
Yeah, and then the Gorosei see Kid and Killer, and they're like, oh no! First Dory and Brogy, and not Nika, but Kid, the mythical man magnet.
Wait, do you think they think this is the real Kid?
There was several things in this chapter where I had to stop myself because I was like, this would take up too much time. But I was like, this is the stupidest thing because it's not like the Marines think they're Kid because they're in prison and they saw the news and he's clearly not Kid. And it's like, do they think that this disguise is working? Like, how did they come up with this disguise?
Okay, hear me out though. At Sabaody 2.0, they thought that he was Luffy, right? Like they didn't realize he was a fake until the Pacifista and Sentomaru showed up. So if you're a nobody Marine, I think that you would believe that this is Kid and Killer. Because like the news about what happened at Elbaf, that's not like public information. It wasn't on the newspapers.
No, it is.
Because
remember, because Buggy got the news that Shanks is making a move. And so like that was published. That's what I assumed at least. That like, because remember when Buggy said like the newspapers are saying Shanks is making his move, and like I think the end of the Kid Pirate thing, it said like the Kid Pirates disappeared or were defeated or something like that.
I think that was the Kid Pirates were annihilated.
Annihilated. Yeah. But I think that's the news that Buggy read when he was just like, and the newspaper saying even Shanks is making his move now. Why now? But you know what, boys? Let's wrap it up for the One Piece. You know, that whole speech, that thing. Yeah. So I thought that it was public information.
Huh. I thought it was like something
Shanks
else.
Just did PR, like random PR in the news, and it's like, hey guys, me One Piece time. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that Shanks could have done that would make it in a newspaper is defeating Kid, unless Shanks alone was just like, PR time. What if Film Red wasn't enough? Like,
what if they just got like the picture of Shanks drinking sake saying, "Hey Ben Beckman, let's get the One Piece." Like, maybe that's the news article. Yeah, I guess you're right, huh?
That would be the craziest PR, right? If the news was actually just Shanks and Ben Beckman sitting down and they had a picture taken of them, like on their shit. Send this one to Big News Morgan. He'll love this one. You know?
Well, what if they just saw that Shanks is like leaving his turf of Elbaf though?
That's crazy too. You're telling me they got people posted up at Elbaf?
Damn. Like, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, like if the Kid information is public, then why the hell would Demalo Black's not a dumb character, you know? Like this guy Okay, wait. Hear me out. You put Demalo Black and Luffy in a room, they take an IQ test, who would have the higher score? I think Demalo Black, to be honest, dude. I mean, you know, I love Luffy, but let me tell you,
bro,
I think Demalo Black's kind of smart.
Wasn't it?
There's no way he would cosplay a dead guy. Like, Luffy is different because Luffy was MIA.
But they had Luffy right in front of him. They had like the real Nami. They had the real Usopp. Well, Usopp got buffed, so like maybe he's unrecognizable. But they were staring at the real ones while cosplaying as the trying their damn.
Okay. But I will vouch for the Demalo Black gang, because the problem with that part is that there was a time skip. So Nami didn't look exactly like her old bounty poster. She went from A's to D's. Usopp got a she got long hair 2-part. Usopp wasn't even got 6-pack abs. He got longer hair. You know, Zoro has a scar in his eye. Like, dude, if you know, you put the posters together, I wouldn't recognize him, to be honest.
You know what?
I mean, when we got to Sabaody again, I didn't even know that was Luffy. He looked so different.
You know what the #1 job of an imposter is? It's to keep track of the original, because it's the original show. That's the one thing you gotta do right.
Okay, wait. Sure hear me out though. So what if the Marines that locked up this fake kid still think that this is the real Kid? Like, they read the newspaper, they saw that Shanks beat Kid, but they're like, oh no, like Kid is making a comeback, and we managed to stop him before, you know, he caused another rampage. No,
see, like this is literally, this conversation is why I didn't expend it on the stream. But isn't the reality that they got caught at Sabaody? So they were in prison this entire time. And what my brain was like, okay, the newspaper got out. They see the newspaper. They see that Kid's captured. And while they're in prison, they change into this getup. And none of that makes sense, which is why I was like, all right.
Wait, Kid isn't captured though, right? Like, Kid is still around. Like,
no, yeah. But like, if they read the newspaper and they're like, oh, Kid's crew is annihilated, they saw that as the opportunity. We can impersonate them now. And so I was like, but that would mean that while they were in prison, they thought, let's just change our appearances.
Oh, no. I think they changed it before they got arrested.
But weren't they arrested at the end of Sabaody? They were literally handed to the Marines, no?
First person. So for me, I was under the impression. So I mean, this is headcanon now, but I was under the impression that they made it out of that.
Sentamaru let them go.
Well, maybe there's like another jailbreak, right? Because Luffy. Okay. Keep this in mind. Luffy managed to do Impel Down. I think Demalo Black can break out of a Marine prison. You know, he's recreating Luffy feats, guys. I mean, like, why is he at G4 then? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know where G4 is, but I'm assuming it's not close to Sabaody.
Pacifista looked at him and said, this guy is fodder below fodder.
Stop.
Like,
Wait.
Could take him.
So in the One Piece Party manga, Demalo Black actually almost breaks out of Impel Down with Usopp.
What in the fever dream did you just pull out of your...
Look it up, Par. So there's a One Piece Party manga, which, you know, it's all gags, but it is like a side project of Oda. And for some reason, Usopp and Demalo Black were in Impel Down, and Demalo Black managed to escape, but he gave up his freedom for Usopp. So go to the Demalo Black wiki or the One Piece Party wiki, and you could find that info. It's like volume 4, I think. But yeah, I mean, hey, if Demalo Black can do it in a gag manga, I think he can do it here. Demalo Black, I think he's been bouncing around these prisons left and right. I think Demalo Black is cooking. I think that he somehow escaped Sabaody. He was a free man. He cosplayed Kid, and then he got captured again. You know what? Okay, I think this guy is a repeat offender.
This is what Fishman Island. After the battle, Black was tied up unconscious on the ground in front of Sentamaru in the custody of the Marines. Chapter 603.
Okay, wait. Hear me out though. You put Luffy and Sentamaru in a room. Who walks out of that?
What are you? I'm not gonna entertain you because you're gonna be like, yeah, Luffy. Well, guess what? Who's imposing Luffy?
yeah. You know where I'm going. Well, guess who Luffy is? It's Demalo Black. He made it out.
Dude.
So do we really have do we really have like no other information on Demalo Black minus that?
That was the last canon thing, was chapter 603, him tied up. Let me look at the panels to see if the One Piece wiki is leading us astray like Roshio, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you
is this another Roshio situation, One Piece wiki? I swear.
Yeah. Is there a chance that this scenario... No, dude! Demalo Black's belly up right in front of Demaro sitting his ass down.
Hear me out, Par. Demalo Black's belly is really big, so who has the tougher defense? Demalo Black's belly or Sentomaru? Let's be real.
Bro, this is the most damned, like, you know, like, there could be a fake out here. This is the most...
okay, wait. It could be like Hachi and Arlong, right? Hachi was like, hey, I managed to escape custody. Like, maybe it's one of those situations, right? Because Arlong was captured by Marines, but Hachi somehow escaped. We don't know how. Last we saw Hachi, he was cut up by Zoro. You know, he was bleeding out the wazoo, but he escaped.
Wasn't he in water? How does a fisherman?
But the Marines were there. Hey, Marines were there.
The fisherman lists Marines.
I would argue.
Okay.
I would argue. So you walked in my trap card. You're arguing that Hachi made it out because he was in water. He was in his element. I would argue that Demalo Black, being on land, was also in his element.
Demalo Black being tied up on grass belly.
He likes Shibari.
Yo, right now you're hitting me with like, you don't know if he has substitution jutsu. You don't know if that's it.
Hey, I will vouch for the Demalo Black gang, which I got. Okay, how about this? Half of the fake Straw Hats got captured because we don't see the fake Robin, the fake Nami. We don't see the fake Zoro. No, fake Zoro's here. Fake Chopper is missing.
Fake Chopper? What was fake Chopper anyways? Wasn't it just an animal?
Yeah, it was a fox, but he was tamed. But like, they're missing. What if the Marines got those guys and then these guys escaped and then they later got recaptured? So the main reason I'm making this argument is because I don't think they had a costume change mid prison time. There's no way. That's too ridiculous, Par.
I'm telling you, the thought crossed my mind in stream and I said, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth thinking about. Oda just wanted us to see Demalo Black. You
don't think it's worth talking about Captain Kid, the man who could easily beat Joy Boy?
No, Joy Toy. Ooh.
Yeah, Joy Toy. Okay, the Joy Toy line kind of struck me though. Like, I think this is some potential Oda foreshadowing with this one. Because I mean,
I like it.
Yeah, because people forgot. I mean, this is a comment I received, and I really like it. But somebody said, hey, like, what if Joy Boy got turned into a toy? And then I think we talked about this too a long time ago, and that's why they forgot about him. It's like the hobby no mi, which I like that. But hey, when Kid was depicted as a kid, he also had like a little toy. And if you think about it, toys are more than likely magnetic because they're like little robot toys. So technically, Kid would be a million times stronger if that was the case. I don't know. I feel like this might be a line that we come back to, 5 years later, and we're like, oh yeah, Oda was cooking with this one. Like he was hinting at something.
I agree with that part. That dialogue when I was like, Joy Toy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And for me, the output was kind of like, I have already had several ideas that like Joy Boy was impersonated. Like you've talked about it, I've talked about it in so many different contexts. But like what would happen if at the end of the Void Century, an impersonated person either took Luffy's mantle and brought shame to it, or took his place in a prison, or something like that, or even like a thought like with Arlong, where like with Kid, it's kind of like a co-conspirator. Like if he was regarded as Luffy's crew, it was because he's a co-conspirator in the Onigashima raid, right? So like he's an ally of Joy Boy, but not really. And so him slandering him is one thing. But then if we look at like the Arlong situation, he got captured afterwards. I think it was with Kizaru, and he told the false premise of Fisher Tiger's death that was like kind of problematic because it wasn't the truth, but it got like a similar effect that like Jinbei was just like, it sucks that this isn't the truth or whatever, but like, you know, what could we have even said in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Like, so they were like mad at Arlong, but like not really. They understood why he said what he said or something like that. Forgetting the full context, but like in a situation like that, like if we go back to the Void Century, this scene could be kind of crazy, where it's like not the kid of the Void Century to Joyboy, but like an Arlong type of, or maybe an impersonator getting captured and like having this bravado about themselves. I could see that, but like, yeah, outside of like that's where I was like, I'm just gonna turn off my brain here on this.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, Demalo Black, this might be my favorite panel in the chapter, dude. Like, come on. Demalo Black and the gang are awesome.
I thought it was funnier that Drip painted the line on his face to complete the killer mask, because like that's what I saw when I was reading it. I was like, what is below this dialogue bubble? Because like when I'm reading it, taking the visuals, but like I was like, what is below this dialogue bubble right now? Like, what is happening? And I looked at it, I was like, I don't get it. And then I zoomed out, I was like, wait, is that Kid? What is happening? And then it took me a solid like 10 seconds to like, oh, wait, who is this? And I see the text, I'm like, Demalo Black. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my god, this is so goofy. And then all the goofiness kind of, I was like, wait a second, they changed in prison? All right, we're not going to talk about that, guys. First we get Wano, then we get Demalo Black. Oda's straight up trolling.
Yeah, he's having fun with this one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was a good time, though. Demalo Black is like a good part. I think it's a good part of One Piece. It's comedy. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
What if Joyboy's a robot? I feel like that'll be a little bit redundant since we have the ancient robot right now. Mm-hmm. But it also makes me wonder that a little bit. Like, what if he's like Pinocchio? Like, he's just a puppet that was created in a lab, and then he ate the Sun God Nika fruit, and then he became, quote, free from his strings or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the idea. So, like, in my Mother Flame video,
like a robot pirate warrior.
Yeah, like, I talked about the idea that Mother Flame would be, like, is on the, like, Mother Flame is going to be the precursor to whatever the Ancient Kingdom had. So, what did the Ancient Kingdom had? Well, maybe they had like a white flame, or like a more perfected flame, which an efficient flame would be white. And then in that logic, I was like, oh, Luffy's hair is white, or Nika's hair is white. So then I was thinking like, okay, maybe the Ancient Kingdom was trying to recreate the Nika stuff. Well, actually, no, that's the conversation I had after, because the Mother Flame video came before the chapter came out. So I said in the video that the Nika thing was the Ancient Kingdom power source. But if we contextualize the last chapter where they say Nika is the fable from the from Elbaf, then the rationalization would be the Ancient Kingdom was trying to recreate that like unlimited power. Luffy's hair is symbolic of the Mother Flame. In that regard, that would mean that there's some kind of like synthetic life form, kind of like a Lunarian. So maybe it's that like the Ancient Kingdom was creating or trying to create like the ultimate form of humanity, like Vegapunk tried to do with the Lunarians or the Seraphims, basing it off the Lunarians. So then if the Ancient Kingdom did that and they got a completed version, maybe that's how you get a Joyboy Nika type of situation where you get this character that is able to awaken it. I'm not really fully certain on that context, but the idea of like synthetic human thing really fits. Also, not just because of that, but then like you get like what Stussy's talking about, right? I think it was this chapter, right? The Stussy's just like, my job is completed, this and stuff. Like I was mentioning how Stussy's lines have been so peculiar because they're so deep. Every time she's seriously talks, it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna listen to this one, because she had this line in the Kuma flashback right before Kuma got switched off. She's like, am I even human? And like that whole context is so important to put the rest of the One Piece world into, because you got all these races, you have all these people. That's the question that like Ace is like, do I deserve to be born or something like that?
Yeah, right? And we just need like that Raphael voice, AI voice in their heads to tell them no.
Oh my god.
Do I deserve to live? No.
Vegapunk tells Stussy to her face, what do you mean, Stussy? You're a human. But then his dream of
funded by the
connecting
world
everyone
government.
to Punk Records is completed, Stussy connects to Punk Records. Her first inkling back is, you're not really human. Get out of the Punk Records.
Authorization denied. Get out of here, you filthy robot.
Subhuman creation.
Yeah, imagine the AI is racist. It's like, long legs I see, huh? Yeah. That'd be so good. Giants? I heard your kind doesn't even know what technology is.
There's like in Dragon Ball Z, when you die, there's Yama or whatever that's like signing your place in whatever. There's that. Vegapunk created that for Punk Records, and it's just like the most racist version of it. I mean, Vegapunk's already German. Just add like the Hitler stash there. Boom, we got it.
It's over, dude.
It's over.
It's so over. Which, by the way, Hitler in Dragon Ball Z, he got sent to hell.
Oh yeah, Toriyama did include him.
Yeah, he included Hitler in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, he comes back and he fights Gotenks.
It is canon that Kid. What it was in the original series, right?
It was it was in the 9th movie, Fusion Reborn, or is that the 13th movie?
I thought it was like, wasn't it? Was it? Or was it someone else? Like, I thought that...
It might have been somebody else you're thinking of. Because this is Fusion Reborn, so it's like one of the non-canon aspects of Dragon Ball Z. It was when Goku and Vegeta go to hell and fight Janemba. And then you have Gotenks and Gotenks and Gohan fighting the people who come back from hell.
I was thinking, like, when Goku was a kid and he was, like, unintentionally helping, like, or fighting the Revolutionary Army or whatever.
The Red Ribbon Army, yeah.
Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah, you're thinking of those guys, yeah.
Yeah, I thought along the way there was like a dictator type of person, and that's when he got sent. But it might have been a different character.
I think you're thinking of a different character. You might be thinking about Baloo, I think, is his name.
Maybe.
But yeah.
That timeline's a blur.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch OG Dragon Ball. I forgot all about it, to be honest.
I mean, if you watched the original Dragon Ball and thought that that's where the series was going to go, you would have a completely
again, you'd have Whiplash going into Dragon Ball Z. It's completely different.
Yeah. Good change, bad changes. You know, I would have liked some essences of Dragon Ball. But then if you did that and you combined what the OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was, you would get Dragon Ball GT in a lot of ways. Because they did
I would say so. Yeah, got
which
like
is why
a lot of goofy, campy moments, and then you got like the big fights.
Yeah, and then each world was political. Like there was a political thing in each thing, just like the original Dragon Ball. It was toned down, but the original thing was Goku going to a place, and then there was like some army there, and then there was the 3 goons that he was with that like got comprised in they were like the Team Rocket of like the Red Ribbon Army. That was like in everything, but then there was a dictator in every spot, and then Goku just they were like, "Who's this little kid taking over thing?" And then Goku just curb stomp everything.
I'd be so upset, like, dude. It's like the equivalent of Luffy beating Kaido and Big Mom. It's like, who's this 19-year-old kid?
Yeah. Except Goku is legitimately a baby, and then they redid that in the GT thing because they had Goku as a kid showing up on a different planet, and then they're like, haha, what could this toddler do? And then the toddler just grows and becomes super hairy, and then becomes like an adult, and you're like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy? And then he just destroys a planet in a singular blow. It's like, okay,
yeah, with the force of God. It's like, what the
yeah. I would hate Goku if I was one of those aliens.
Yeah, it'd be like if Goa Kingdom Luffy awakened into like Nika, but Nika was just like a Giga Chad guy. He turned into like Kaido. And it's like, I'm losing to that. I wasn't losing to the first one, but that
it's like Hunter x Hunter when Gon gets a lot bigger. His adult form. It's like, what the hell? It's like reverse Benjamin Button, dude. So we go down a little bit. Vegapunk talks about the unbelievable history about a great war in the past. During that period, Joyboy faced an enemy, the organization known as the World Government, or now known. And then that's when we have the Marine who's like, yeah, is that me? Is that us?
I like how Oda made him extra doofy looking too.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that. It's like somebody out of G8, you know what I mean? out of Smoker's team, dude.
I was like, Oda, you didn't need to do him that dirty. You didn't make him dumb looking.
I love how all the Marines are just like sitting idly by or listening to the message now. They're so engrossed in it, right? Like, they're not even sailing. They're not preparing for war. They're just chilling now.
Yeah.
It's like halftime.
Which made the statement later even more ironic because the guy was just like, we can't sit around and listen to this garbage. We gotta go do something. I was like, what are you gonna do at this point?
Yeah, we gotta go fight Sun God Nika.
We gotta go. I think the guy said literally, we have to. The Cypher Pole agents and Seraphim are falling out of the sky. We gotta go do something about that. I'm like, you couldn't get Bonnie, and she's right on the coast. The ship, the ship made out of mortal wood is sitting right next to you. You couldn't destroy that. You try to bust or call the island, you are evacuated. Like, what are you planning on doing?
And the island's on fire too. Like, making it all the way to the center and picking them up is crazy.
I was like, this is the time you sit your ass down, listen to the message, and just stop. And they were like, no, we have to fly up and save the Seraphim. I'm like, what are you gonna do for the Seraphim? They got wings and fire. Like, oh my god. Like, each Seraphim could take out the entire fleet on their own, probably. And they're
hey, but they're technically on the same side, though. That's all that matters. Yeah, and you know who isn't on the same side?
If only being admirable would get you promoted to being an admiral, you know. But
Jesus. The person that's not on our side, though, was Joyboy in the past. Because one Marine tries to rationalize it. He's like, well, you know, he did say that Joyboy was a pirate, you know, to try and justify the war. And, you know, I kind of agree, right? Like, if your neighbor knocked on your door and said, hey, Par, there is a criminal.
On the loose.
On the loose. He's right in front of us, so let's take him down. Would you help take down that criminal? If you knew that you weren't gonna die or get mortally injured?
Apparently, you are supposed to. If you know that you are not going to be in harm, if the police ask you to help in a situation, you are obligated to. Apparently, you can be like put in prison for that.
Well, yeah, and then it comes the whole debate of like, oh well, I actually thought I was gonna get injured. You know what I mean? And then it's like a back and forth at that point.
But in your hypothetical
my hypothetical, you would have to help out, right?
Yeah, it'd be criminal. Yeah. I'd be so un-American.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, the Joyboy is a pirate. We took him down. You know, W World Government. W World Government. That's what the W stands for in WG. So we go down. We see that Dory, Brogy, Luffy, they're still running from Warkity. The guy is kind of like, he kind of looks like Pac-Man. He's just like munching on the ground, if anything. I don't know if that's actually what's happening, but it kind of looks like it.
Do you think Luffy tapped into the Warkity against Lucci when he was
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But you know who's tapping in?
Who?
Mars, dude. You see Mars?
Oh,
walking through with the Conqueror's hockey.
Okay. You give me your take, I'll give you my take. Okay?
I think this might be the best showing of Conqueror's hockey in the series, up there with Don Chin Jiao.
Wait, what do you mean up there with Don Chin Jiao?
This is great showing. Sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Top one of the verse right here.
Did it
Marcus Mars?
Because like we saw, so like, you know, at the time we didn't know mind rope was a thing, Wi-Fi hockey, if you will, right? Mind rope being the theory. But we saw Shanks oceans away, distances up over latitude, longitude, all of the distance, he covered it to an admiral, right? And like we know that they can sense the telepathic waves of these snails, right? Couldn't he just sent this up to this, like, the thing and just zapped them? Zapped the one up there instead of getting fooled?
Well, I think it's more impressive that he's not utilizing the same hockey feats as a dirty pirate.
What a line to draw.
Mars is unleashing his Conqueror's hockey in a way befit of a world government gentleman.
So this is the kind of copium the Admiral side.
Yeah, this is the copium. This is the copium we have over here, Par.
Oh,
you know what's so sad too?
Doing it befitting of the Gorosei.
What's so sad about? I mean, you know, I do think this is impressive. Don't get me wrong, but what is sad about this is that out of every Conqueror's hockey flex we've gotten, I think this might be the smallest panel of it. Right, like Don Chin Jiao. He had a big page with Luffy. We have, you know, and Kaido, Warkity, you know, yeah, Garp. Whenever Luffy used his Conqueror's hockey, like, all of the Conquer hockey feats in this show, in the manga, double page, giant panels, overtakes the whole page, whatever. Marcus Mars, brother, they gave him 2 small panels squeezed in between, transition. It's a transitionary like thing. Like we go from Warkity, him, and then we go down to Vegapunk again.
Wait, but Sai, you really think this is Conqueror's? How do you think that the lines clearly aren't thick enough? They're not long enough.
Okay, no, you can't bring up the ruler here, part. This is Conqueror's hockey. Don't you dare argue. The Gorosei all have it at this point. Warkity has it. Marcus has it. I don't know if you see this, but Saturn has it. Like, oh my god. And Saturn.
See, this is the problem with the One Piece community. The literacy rate is so. Where does it say that there's Conqueror's hockey side? There's no symbols in the back.
You're right. No symbols. Wait, there are symbols. You can't say that one.
You can't say that. I was reacting to it. I was just like, all right, this is Conqueror's hockey.
There's no symbols in the background.
The lines, they're not thick enough. They're black enough. Oh, where's the explicit Conqueror's hockey?
Oh, God. It's so cool. I mean, I'm glad Marcus Mars has hockey. I feel like more people are going to be on board now that all of them have hockey or Conqueror's hockey.
I think to flip on the head of what you said, I think the most impressive part about this is I didn't know that the Den Mushi could be knocked out like that. Like, I was like, whoa, this is the first.
Funny enough, that is what somebody said. So somebody commented, they're like, well, Sai, like, I think it's really impressive that Mars managed to use his Conqueror's hockey to knock out such small life forms. And I said, you know what? I actually really like that. If we want to turn this into a flex, maybe that is a flex. Like, oh, like knocking out other humans and, subspecies, that's one thing. But snails, that's, it's like a scalpel. You're just going in with the scalpel at that point, as compared to a brutish axe like Shanks.
Yeah, the Surgeon of Death. Better watch out. This guy's precise. The precision.
I like it. Hey.
Yeah, yes. And the thing is, we know it has to be Conqueror's hockey because Oda did the foaming at the mouth. Also,
for one of the snails.
All the snails. Well, no, there's 3 of them actually. 1, 2, 3. I'm seeing that has like this foaming. The one on the right, that one definitely has it, but the one in the back, like right in front of him, also has like the bubbles, and then the one on the left, behind the text, is also the bubbles. So I'm like, all right, they're foaming at the mouth. That's definitely Conqueror's, but we know that there's gonna be people who are like, this is actually armament hockey. This is the third. Like,
this is his devil fruit.
Yeah, like I don't know what to say about that.
This is an Itsumare power.
Like if we're not gonna give him knocking out snails, and this is just the smallest form of Conqueror's hockey we've seen, like, and we're just gonna give it to armament, then sure. I don't know where we're at. There's an
even smaller showing of Conqueror's hockey in the same chapter.
Oh yeah, Saturn. With the knocking out just 2.
He knocks out 2 snails, and they don't even foam.
Oh no,
they don't even foam, dude. And he has 1. Mars has 2 panels. Saturn has 1. I mean, which granted, people do believe, and I believe it too, that Saturn is the weakest Gorosei. So maybe this is just Oda kind of showing that, yeah, he's also the weakest Conqueror too.
No, but see, the problem with that is, like, Oda, you don't need to reinforce that this many times. We get it. We get it. Saturn's number 5.
We get it. Saturn's a meme.
Yeah. See, I was more scared of the vein popping on Mars's face than his Conqueror's hockey. The thing is, what's crazy about this is that he has shown more Conqueror's hockey than Kid.
Yeah, Kid hasn't shown anything yet, which is sad. I mean, maybe.
Do you think Kid can knock out snails?
Yeah, well, okay, so I would argue that is Demalo Black's plan. Now that he's cosplaying as Kid, maybe he's going to be the first showing of Kid's Conqueror's hockey, and he's going to get out of prison.
Oh, just like how people think that the Conqueror's hockey is because of his devil fruit, that we know that it's not really a devil fruit anymore because it's just a yokai power, so it's just like him. But like, just like that, Kid's hockey comes from his clothing.
You know what? Hey, they do say that fashion is power.
Oh,
so maybe Demalo Black is ahead of the game over here, cosplaying as all these different characters.
Oh my God, Sai, you're a genius. That's why Kinemon survived, because he's the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, the
exactly.
Walmart. His devil fruit power is the fashion. He is fashion power. He's the second in line to the throne next to Nika. Oh my God.
Yep, and third would be Papagu.
Oh, you're right. Oh my
Dude,
God.
power in the
How did I
clothes,
not see it?
dude.
Yeah.
The more
All
expensive
that
your
guy
shirt, the stronger you are, guys. You hear that?
Yeah, and when you
Whip out the
can
bank
wear a
cards.
shirt and you choose not to, like Papag because he's a starfish, and just wear a hat, that's even more powerful. That's why Luffy is shirtless and he just has a straw hat.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, we're making that out of the hood with this one.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of fits though, dude, you see the fits on these original kings?
Oh yeah. Oh
Dude,
yeah, yeah.
oh my god, the fire coming from this. We got one in the middle with what seems to be maybe a buggy nose. We got one with crazy spiky hair. We got the crazy Holy Knight swirl coming out of the bottom. We got Joyboy up there, which his design, it looks just like Nika.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
he does have something interesting going on, and I just want your insight on this. So like, he has this little like thing coming out from the back of from his backside, and I'm like, okay, that could be a tail, but that could just be like a sash, like what Luffy has, or like a part of his tail coat. Like, do you have any like strong opinions on that? I think it's just the sash. Like maybe him and Luffy also had the same fit too, but I think that'd be kind of weird. Some people are saying that it's like the fire cloud, but it's just so detached from the fire cloud that I don't see it.
Wait, realign me. What are we looking at?
The Joyboy silhouette.
Yeah, I see that.
It's the tail thing coming out of the left side, bottom left.
Oh, that's just a cloud. That's just his cloud.
You think that's a cloud?
Yeah, I think that's just like the end of his sash.
Oh, end of the sash.
Like because it makes like it loops under his armpits and it just like kind of like ends there. Yeah.
So like when I look up Sun God Nika Luffy or Luffy in Gear 5th, he has like that exact same pose as Joyboy, but like when Luffy has the thing that comes out right there from his backside, it's actually like his waistband.
Jacket? His waistband?
Yeah.
Yeah,
His sash thingy. So it makes me think that maybe him and Luffy had the same fit, but I guess it could be the cloud too. I see the cloud arguments, but
yeah,
I don't think it's that.
It's not. I don't think it's a tail. Otherwise, it's coming from his armpit, you know. But
yeah.
So clothing, cloud, potato there. For me.
Well, clothing is power par. Come on.
I saw. I missed it.
Yeah, you missed it, dude. For somebody nicknamed the Vision, you don't have it.
You're gonna say that? I was gonna say
somebody nicknamed the Vision with the king in the middle. Like that does strike me as a buggy nose, which I think could explain a lot because we do know that Buggy's nose is real. So maybe this is like the same race as Buggy. This could even mean that Buggy has celestial dragon blood in him, which would fall in line with Shanks, his cabin brother. So if Shanks ended up becoming a celestial dragon or being a celestial dragon, if Bonnie's one, I don't see any reason why Buggy wouldn't be the same, especially given the fact that we don't know much about his backstory at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty solid. What's up?
Do you think Vegapunk knows what? Like, because this is his perspective, right, from his silhouettes, and it's kind of interesting. I wonder how much he knows about them. You know?
Yeah, I think he might know a good amount because, like Ivankov, for example, when they talk about Imu and Arona, they're like, oh, like that was one of the original 20 kings. I feel like they might have some knowledge. It's like if I were to ask you about like the founding fathers, and you have like these silhouettes in your head. It's kind of like that. You don't, you can't like 100% make a distinction on what they look like off the top of your head, but maybe you're like, got like an idea. It might be like that. I was
curious about that because like if Vegapunk knows, like done the research, then like I'm sure he has more than what Ivankov has. He might even have more than what like Nefertari Cobra has, right? He's going off of his like royal stuff, but like if all of these kings were like noted in history to the point that Ivankov can find it in a book, then like would Vegapunk have information on who those 20 kings were? Because that part's not secret, right? Like Don Quixote was
they knew
right?
the name.
Like,
yeah,
and like we go back and we see the king from Don Quixote and the Tontada thing, and the Tontada, that one had like it was a crown, but it was more of like a castle shaped crown, so it didn't fit this thing per se. They're all silhouettes, but like that's why I was like, I wonder if Vegapunk's also just gonna name drop like the kings, because if he wanted to, because he also said like I'm gonna stick with the truth, I'm gonna stick with what we know, right? And so then including the names might not
I
be
don't
that
think he
crazy.
would. I mean, yeah, I don't think it would be that crazy, but I could also see a route where he doesn't give us the names of the 20 kings because he's like, well, guys, that's common knowledge, you know, like everybody should know their founding fathers. Because it doesn't seem like the 20 kings were like super hidden. If Ivankov out of all people knew that.
True. I feel like it'd be interesting. Well, they knew the names, but like Ivankov knew the names but didn't know the connection, right? So like maybe that's the missing part where it's like knowing the names is one thing, but knowing why that's relevant today is another thing, right? How do they connect to the Gorosei, like the Holy Knights, like, you know, or like they know certain names. Do the regular people know the Celestial Dragon's names like that? Like, do they know like Saint Mosgard's name, or do they just know the Celestial Dragon?
Well,
right?
remember when we came here to Agate Island? I think somebody was talking about like Saint Saturn and how they had like a poster of him or like a painting of him or something.
Oh yeah, the picture.
Yeah,
picture on the
so like they do know like it's like the founding fathers, dude. Like, you know, maybe he had a George Washington poster in his house. I don't know.
Yeah,
it comes weird because we don't really know too much about like education in the One Piece world. Like, what do they know? What do they not know? Right, maybe it's better to get rid of education in general because, you know, they discovered the Void Century or start asking too many questions.
Saw an element of that last chapter with Charlia, right? Like or Sharia? Sharia, yeah, like where she's like, what is the Void Century? I don't know what that is. And so like we don't know what that context was. And the other reason why I was asking that is because like we don't know where the Gorosei fit in, and like in my stream, people were still debating of like, I mean, there's lots of debates, and I just settled them, but like, hey, like the fact that there's instantly disagreement in the thing, you don't have to look to me to be this arbiter. Like it's up there. One of them was like Emu being a guy or a girl, and I was like, hey, listen, there's people saying one way or the other.
It could be either
Emu
one.
Could be a robot. Like I don't care. Like if I'm saying he or she, I'm not substantiating one or the other. But with the Gorosei, it was like someone said they were immortal, and I'm like, there's evidence on one side, there's evidence on the other side. They could be immortal, but that's like the one thing where I'm like, I wonder if Vegapunk at the minimum is gonna give us context of the Gorosei, because like he's doing all these things like, oh, like based off this information, I predicted the earthquake thing, right? And so because the earthquake thing did happen, that means that you guys should believe me. Similarly, it's like if like he had his hunches about Saturn, right? When Saturn shows up, like, I presume you to be Saturn, right? So that implies that he didn't know that the forms were there, but he did know that that was like the Gorosei. So I wonder if he's gonna do something similar where it's like the Gorosei are this entity, blah blah blah, and they're here, and you guys don't know about them, blah blah blah. And I wonder if that's gonna be kind of the case where he gives us some of the truth that we do know, but like hard canonizes it, which is similar to like a bunch of the things he said have been like theories that we've had. The difference is he substantiated them. It's now canon that it's a thing. Like, sure, there were popular theories, and it's like there wasn't really ideas around it, so we kind of believed it. But Vegapunk saying it verbatim is a different thing. And like I think that showed up later in the thing where people are like, well, isn't that common knowledge, blah blah blah. But then Vegapunk hit us with like, oh yeah, it's common knowledge, but then here's like the crazy part of it, right? So
yeah,
I wonder if that's gonna happen with the Gorosei, because I do. The other part of this chapter was, and I didn't realize until the end, I was like, oh wait, the Gorosei reacted to Vegapunk's message. There was only one bubble. We didn't even really get a full reaction about their message. All we got is like, how much are you gonna tell them from Saint Venus? But Mars didn't react, and Saturn didn't react. It was just Venus, and we don't know if that meant like they knew about it, or like,
it sounds like they know about it, or at least that's how I inferred it.
Yeah, but like it's still vague, you know what I mean? It's like, are they like, what part do they know about? Like why it's sinking, or I don't know. It's still interesting, but yeah, that was the main thing I was looking for, is like the Gorosei's reaction. I want Vegapunk to like make them angry, like more angry, you know what I mean?
You want to see them fuming?
Yeah, because like, it seems like we're walking towards that, right? But like, I don't know how to encapsulate what I'm meaning here.
Maybe Vegapunk just starts roasting them. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, people were doing that in the chat. I was just like, I forgot one of the super chats. I like they were just flaming Saint Saturn for something, and I was like,
Probably
I
a
wouldn't
small
go
showing of
that far.
Conqueror's hockey.
No, it was about like the science thing about like them not being able to do like they had 800 years to sink the world more if that was the prerogative, and he couldn't figure it out, and he needed Vegapunk, and like they killed Vega. I don't know. It was just like a bunch of things. I was
Maybe it's like Shanks, right? Shanks is like, hey, Ben, it's time to go after the One Piece after all these years. Maybe it's the same thing with Emu. Maybe Emu just the other day was like, Saturn, it's time to sink the world, brother.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, and the other part is we don't know the context of the sinking, right? Because it's like, was it an accident, or did the world government intend to do it, or like, you know?
Well, we don't even know if it was the world government that did it, though.
Right.
Like it could have been Joyboy.
Right, which is why the whole thing of like, how much are you gonna tell them? Are you gonna make like, like if this was Joyboy's doing, sinking the world, and that's not like the worst thing for the world government to like have out there, because it's like, haha, see, he was evil, haha, you know, like that's so easy to spin. Like the bad parts are about what the world government did, and so if it's that Joyboy sunk the world and the world government defeated them, then the world's like, oh, thank you, world government, for stopping this maniac guy from sinking the world.
What? Well, we do know that, I mean, right now, current day, like the world government has Uranus. So what if it was like ancient weapon versus ancient weapon, and they both kind of sunk the world together? And that's why they didn't want to like throw it out there.
So like, and that's something like in my chat, like people are debating about like, what does the world government have? I think I use process of elimination and like simple stuff where it's like, yeah, they could have something else that's an ancient weapon level power, and that's what used on Leloucia, but we also don't know anything about Uranus. So like, because we don't know anything about Uranus and it's in the sky and it could potentially fit what they're using, I think they just have Uranus. And people are like, no, Par, that's not Uranus, it's something else. I'm like, okay, they have an ancient weapon level power, we just don't know the name. We also don't know what Uranus does, so then it does fit. It doesn't mean that they're like, yeah, sure, it could be something else, but it could also just be Uranus. That I feel like that's the simple.
Yeah, and then in this chapter, it pretty much confirms that it was Uranus, because Vegapunk used the Leloucia data to say, hey, the world sinking was due to ancient weapons.
Yeah, and I had pushback on that. I was like, I feel like this is implying this pretty.
Yeah, that's how I saw it too.
Yeah, where they were like,
I'm on your side for this one.
Yeah, he said specifically, you know, and the caveat that I had was what weapons and ancient weapons could mean to Vegapunk could be wider than what Neptune told us, right? Because Neptune found out about the ancient weapon stuff from the Poneglyphs plus Roger. But Roger found out more from the Void Century, and it's not like he gave Neptune an update. So whatever Neptune knew was essentially the same things that like Robin would find out from eating the rocks, which is what Vegapunk kind of said. He's like, I read these rocks, but like he didn't tell us which rocks or how he got to these rocks, because then he technically, like, did he read the one from Alabasta, like talking about Pluton? How did he get to that one? But that aside, it's like he read these things, but then would he regard the ancient giant as an ancient weapon? Because it's like, it's a tech that's way beyond him. It would be like, if it was functional, like marriage, like taking down Marriage and raiding it, it would be terrifying to the point that they couldn't stop it. Would that be something that he would regard? I'm like, sure, so. but like at the end of the day, it's like the Iron Giant isn't the one lasering down Leloucia, so it's something else. And if it's something else, and we have something called Uranus on the map, it's like maybe it's Pluton, maybe it's anti-Pluton, maybe they had a different thing, but like we also just have Uranus. I feel like it's easier just to call it Uranus, and because he said like based off of this information from Leloucia that I conclude that it's an ancient weapon, then I'm like, okay, then it's an ancient weapon that did Leloucia. Because why would he take the data from Leloucia, conclude it's an ancient weapon, if it wasn't an ancient weapon that caused Leloucia?
Oh, yeah, I feel like it's pretty much 100% confirmed at that point. Yeah, or at least to me. I see where people get hung up on it, but I feel like if I was at 99% yesterday, with this chapter, I'm at like 99.99% that it's Uranus.
Yeah.
Like
but at the minimum, what this does feel
it's like the
to me-
Conqueror's hockey thing, right? Like with Mars. It's like we have it, we have the lightning, we have the foaming, but nobody said it's Conqueror's hockey. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. It's like, I don't know.
Also, separately, like I think this also confirms Mother Flame plus Ancient Weapon equals Leloucia, right? Like power source, Ancient Weapon, Leloucia.
At least for Leloucia, or at least for Uranus, because I mean, like Shirahoshi doesn't need the Mother Flame. I don't know if Pluton will either. Maybe that's a Uranus exclusive thing.
Okay, but for Pluton,
like the Winged Dragon of Ra,
it needs someone to pilot it, right? Like it's just a boat. Like
well, we don't. Hey, we don't know what it looks like. What?
Oh, you think it's AI?
No. Well, okay. Yeah, actually, I do.
Ooh,
well,
AI.
So with all of these ancient weapons, I think they are all sentient. Even Uranus.
Sentient. Okay.
Like I feel like even Uranus might be like when I think of Uranus, I think of like Brushogun from Teen Titans. I always bring up Brushogun for some reason. I'm imagining like a living sentient person who's hooked up to the ship and they need the Mother Flame to do things.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up JJK with the Mekomaru.
Yeah, I guess that would work too.
Yeah.
But I think Brushogun's pretty cool.
How many people?
Well, I like Brushogun.
We got some youngins.
Yeah,
they got the new Teen Titans, bro.
So for Teen Titans, Brushogun is a guy who was perpetuated as like this giant monster in Japan. They're like, oh my god, Brushogun's like this criminal mastermind. He's a serial murderer. And then when we meet Brushogun, he's a guy hooked up to a machine being forced to fight. So I think that could be the same thing for Uranus, where they maybe don't want to do anything, but you know, when they have the Mother Flame, they just work. Because the reason I think this is because of what Shinobu said back in Wano, where when we were talking about Pluton, she popped in and she was like, oh, so you're saying sexy, mature ladies are ancient weapons then, huh? And it's like, well, Shirahoshi is, well, not like mature or even sexy in my opinion, but, you know, like Shirahoshi's a woman and she's an ancient weapon. So who's to say that Pluton and Uranus aren't kind of the same? So you know how like people are saying that Enel gave us a good showing of what Uranus is like, right? Because we have the Arc Maxim, we had his crazy attack that caused that hole in Skypiea, and it's like, yo, like if you look at the Arc Maxim, it has the the face of a woman like ingrained in the gold. So it's like, yeah, like what if that is like supposed to be quote like Uranus? What if there is like a woman AI bot, you know, melded into the wall, and they're the ones that, you know, use Uranus, or like they are Uranus and the ship is just one part of them.
So what's interesting about that is that conversation was brought up a lot with the Pluton route with the introduction of Pluton, because when we got in Alabasta, Miss Doublefinger was saying that like anything can be used as a double, that's her name, right?
Oh, I think so. I just like the name Double Finger.
Yeah, I always get that. I used to say Miss Doubtfinger, and then I said that on a Brago call, and he's like, "You mean Double Finger?" I was like,
"I think Doubtfinger comes from Doubtfire from
like the movie thing."
Yeah, the movie thing. I forgot what it is.
But
Imaginary Kids or something.
Doublefinger says like to Nami, like anything can be used as a weapon as long as it like if it's used to kill people, even a face. And so like that was one of the introduction lines to Pluton. Like it was right after Crocodile named Pluton that this line exists. And so that line is very heavily like important when you consider like the Arc Maxim, but then even Usopp against Sugar, right? It was like his face was the weapon. And so, yeah, like I agree with you. It's like, I wonder how that plays off on Pluton, but also Uranus. And Uranus, this conversation just led me to a crazy idea. Well, not an idea, an update to one of my videos, because I was thinking one thing for an aspect, but now I'm thinking another one. But, man, it's kind of wild because the theorizing about what happened there is so weird when you think about like a sentient object or something that's being controlled, and then the only example we have left is Enies Lobby and Leloucia, but we don't know how the waterfall part works or how like that it functions in general. But it, man.
Another reason why I think these sentient weapons could work is because it would bring the voice of all things back. Like, sure, Hoshi uses the voice of all things to communicate with the Sea King. What if you need the voice of all things to communicate with Uranus and to communicate with Pluton too?
Yeah, I get it's interesting. And now I'm picturing something like Wapol a little bit, like just a giant mouth in the sky, and then it eats the mother flame and spits it out or something like that. Like
I'm imagining like a normal sized woman like stuck to a wall, but not in like a sexual way, but like just stuck to a wall.
I mean,
like,
there's the world where like the Oxloid, people brought that up. I've talked about that in the past. Like if it's just the Oxloid ship, we don't know where that is. That's like it was brought to us after Marineford.
Yeah,
interesting inclusion in that front. But yeah, when it comes to, I mean, at the end of the day, do you think that Vegapunk knows what was used?
Yes. It's hard. I believe so, because it's hard to create like a power source for something you haven't seen before. Unless it's like a fix all, because I mean the Mother Flame powers all of Egghead, so I don't know. I mean, because
in the One Piece world, right? It's like I made this joke in the comment section on my Mother Flame video, but because it was like I kind of debating about this whole nuance of the power versus the weapon, and I was saying I think that what Vegapunk made is the power in a similar line of that, like the person who invented Coca-Cola in the One Piece world could never fathom that Frankie would end up using it to make laser beams. You know what I mean? Like that, you know how crazy it is that Frankie's using Coca-Cola to power the Gao cannon or the Kude burst. And it's not like the guy who made the Coke is like, yeah, one day some crazy robot guy is gonna make laser beams.
Hey, you don't know that for sure.
And it's like, if that exists in the One Piece world, it's like that's the equivalent here, where it's like Vegapunk made a more obviously fitted power than Coca-Cola, and what the ship is like the Frankie elevation towards the Gao cannon. The question is, what was the Gao cannon? So it's like we're looking for like who Frankie is in the equation, I guess. Frankie didn't invent Coca-Cola. Vegapunk created the Coca-Cola for Frankie.
Okay, wait, hear me out though. But Vegapunk, he also included Uranus in his whole, like, you know, like, because of what happened over there, like, the water levels rise, and that's why I believe this whole theory. Like, so Vegapunk must know that they used Uranus then, or, like, used an ancient weapon. So maybe he has seen it because of that.
And that's where I was, like, a little confused, because I was like, does this mean, like, when he says ancient weapons, right, does he know about ancient weapons because at Ohara, the world government self-reported, because they announced that, like, hey, the Oharans are planning to use ancient weapons to destroy the world because they're demons. And it's like, you just told the world that that wasn't a thing until you opened your mouth. You know
but
that,
people
right?
just forgot about that, right? Like, I mean, Dragon didn't even believe in it for a good minute.
Yeah, but then, like, is Vegapunk going off of that? And the reason why I say that is because he is not yet to, like, I'm not saying that he doesn't know the names of it, but he hasn't named one yet. And if he were to name them, how did he know them? Because another thing is, like, aside from Pluton, in order to know Poseidon, you'd have to go to Sky Island. And we know that the only people that went to Sky Island was Roger, or the only people that went to that poneglyph was Roger, because Gonfall knew that. And then Luffy or Robin, right? Luffy actually didn't go there. It was Robin. And so in order to read the Poseidon stuff, you'd have to go there, or you'd have to interrogate Neptune or free Shirahoshi. But we know Shirahoshi was locked up, and we know that the Vegapunk or Roger didn't, like, tell other people. So that part is interesting. Pluton, we know that Crocodile knows outside the poneglyph. He didn't need to read the poneglyph to know about it. So that one's interesting. And then there's Uranus, where we have no idea. We have not come across it, which is wild in the first place. Like, I would believe that, hey, that Big Mom's poneglyph has the information on Uranus. Robin's been sitting on it. Vegapunk tells us about it. Robin's like, oh my god, that's Uranus. And then we know that Vegapunk had Perospero, and he traded his virginity for the poneglyph. That would be the theory.
But here's the thing too, right? Like, we don't know. So we can't limit one poneglyph per ancient weapon. There could be a chance that there are multiple poneglyphs that talk about each weapon too. Like what if Vegapunk, because we don't know like what poneglyphs Vegapunk has or hasn't seen.
The only reason why I'm limiting
what if like he has like
because
the poneglyph that has like the information on all the ancient weapons?
that would be interesting, and the main reason why it'd be interesting because the location, right? I thought the interesting part of the ancient weapons one is underneath the Nefertari castle. It's in the royal kingdom, like in a secret place. You know, it's like these are all special locations. All three of, and then the Shandora one was literally in the protected spot. So it's like that's why those ancient weapons were written there, because they were like in like each kingdom was like guarded to protect it, right? One of them is the Tomb of Kings in Alabasta. Shandora is like, you literally could not go on the island unless you wanted to be eaten by cannibal dudes. You know what I mean? Like isolated indigenous, like, you know, like the what is it that those people go down the Amazon River and find the indigenous people like, hey, what's up? And then we see that they were eaten. That's kind of what was happening on, like, they were like, who's this crazy guy on the coast? He's going to eat us. Like, that's, you know, what they were assuming. And then the Fishman Island one's like, hey, 10,000 meters and underneath the castle where like only like Neptune knows about it. That's kind of obscure to the point where we're debating who the man marked by flames is.
So are you saying that Vegapunk would have had to trek through some crazy, far, well-guarded land to get to a poneglyph? Because let me tell you, Vegapunk has that dog in him, dude. Like, if Vegapunk were to... We talked about this when we first met Vegapunk. Could Vegapunk go to, like, a Yonko territory and destroy it? And it's like, dude, with the Seraphim and the Pacifista... maybe he could, you know, like, I mean, I don't think he's beating like Kaido, but I mean, you know, like these Seraphim would destroy a lot of people. Like, imagine if he brought a Seraphim with him and just went to a country and just like, you know, destroyed them for their poneglyph.
That's why I thought when he said something along the lines of like, he's kind of verbatim said like, I didn't get all the poneglyphs. He's just like, this is just information from some of the ones that I saw, or like the ones that I got to see. Yeah, I only have access to a handful of poneglyphs, which I would imagine would be like the Ohara stuff and whatever they had. And yeah, they were researching other ones, but then it's like, which ones? Because like, we know the important ones.
Well,
we know that nobody else
here's
has
the thing,
seen
though.
those.
He was, you know, he was traveling with the Mads team a long time ago. Maybe they stumbled upon a couple, right?
Yeah,
like we're over here saying that these kingdoms have like their poneglyphs, right? Wano has one. Not Dressrosa didn't have one, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Alabasta has one. What if the Jerma Kingdom had one? I don't know why we didn't see it, but hey, maybe Jerma had one, you know?
The Big Mom's one is the one that I'm thinking he could, because everyone and their mother got that access. Literally everyone and their mother. And I'm like, it wouldn't be crazy if Vegapunk somehow, you know, like Big Mom asked him to do something, and just like with Caesar, and he's just like, well, I hear you have a poneglyph, and she's just like, oh yeah, sure, you could see it. And like, I could see that happening, and that information on there gets posed here. And the other part of it, I liked what you said of like, maybe there's a poneglyph that just has the information. Well, we have seen that on Zoe. There was that red poneglyph literally just said, hey, gather the other ones and connect the dots. That was what that one's purpose was, apparently. And it had some like location on it too. But I think like the primary message was like, hey, if you collect all the stones, then you'll connect the dots. And so like, we don't know what the other ones will have, but it's that information plus a coordinate, I guess.
Yeah.
And so maybe there is a thing that talks about the ancient weapons, which would make sense because like not the names, just the ideas of them.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense because before Roger went on the final thing, the only one that he had was Big Mom stuff. So like maybe he did have that. But the thing is, the other part of it is that the second poneglyph that Big Mom had was given to her after Roger by Jinbei, who we found on the sea floor. So like, I don't know, maybe that one had important stuff, but we wouldn't know because Robin's withholding this information. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, maybe he gives us the information on that one because Robin's been withholding it, rather than giving us information on a new poneglyph that we haven't even seen yet. Because then it would be a good crossroad for Robin to finally divulge this information.
Imagine Robin is the same as Venus. Vegapunk, how much are you gonna tell the world? You know, you're spilling all my secrets, Vegapunk. I've been holding this to myself for ages now. Yeah, maybe it's the same.
Because then I was thinking about it because I was like, isn't this the pattern where it's like we see it happen, and then Robin's like, ho, that was Poseidon, wasn't it, King Neptune? Like we had to witness it.
Sukiyaki, she's like, Pluton's here, huh?
Yeah, it's like well, no, yeah, he was like Pluton's here, and he's like, I knew this since Alabasta, baby, and it's like,
yeah, I knew this in chapter 120.
like, well, it was 210.
Yeah, I got that wrong. I flubbed it.
Yeah. No, I got you. Don't worry. That's what the Parvision.
120 sounded crazier though.
Yeah, but like
exaggerations are always good, Par.
It's like we went through 5 years of Wano for Robin to be like, oh, so it's underneath Wano, you say. It's like, wait, you knew? You know what I mean? And so I was thinking about it. I was like, this information, it could be new to us, but it might not be new to Robin.
I mean, it's like how Robin, she reads these poneglyphs. These poneglyphs, Par, you know, we're over here talking about 200 meters. The poneglyphs are like maybe 5 meters tall. Like, it's huge. It is a massive towering stone slab with, 50 lines of text. Robin reads it, and then she says, hey guys, this says that this is only 1/4 of the map. Like when we go to Alabasta, Robin's like, oh, by the way, this entire 50-line page, all it says is that, Pluton is in Wano. Like, no. There's like a lot of things we're missing here, right? Like surely it didn't take like 5,000 letters to say that. Like,
I think this is the most.
There's a lot here we're missing.
Useless text in existence.
Yeah, the most useless alphabet.
or Robin's really out here as the villain. And like people have asked me, like, Par, what do you think Robin's role is? Ever since we got that chess thing where Robin's the player, I've been saying it. Robin's could make this series a lot shorter. She just opened that mouth. You know what I'm saying?
And Robin was studying the poneglyphs at O'Hara. We still don't know what that's about. We still have no clue. Robin learned the poneglyph lexicon through that one poneglyph that they had there. And guess what? We have no idea what's on it, Like, it could be the Ancient Kingdom name that Clover was going to say, but we don't know. Nothing's confirmed. I feel like there needs to be... There doesn't need to be. Like, this is a joke, but, like, I would love if Oda dropped a little booklet that tells us all the poneglyphs and exactly verbatim what they say, like, translated to English or Japanese. Like, that would be so sick. He would never do it because that would be... I feel like that would be game breaking in a way. Like, you have to play so careful with those. But yeah, it would be fun.
If Oda like had an actual language thing, I would. There were so many theories about Oda would be confirmed because apparently, identical twins, like when they're younger, I might be talking about my ass, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing this. It's not rare for them to come up with their own language between the two of them. And so like,
that sounds like some people out of a movie.
some will come up with like text and shit that they'll be able to just like, they'll learn their own language to speak to each other. And then it's like, oh my God, we've always thought that Oda had like satellites. So it's like, maybe all this time he has an identical twin that he's just been flip-flopping off of.
There's a hidden twin of Oda out there somewhere.
Yeah, there's
that has the hidden language, which is the poneglyph language. Maybe he's dead too.
No. It's a little bit like the Brushagan thing or like the Mekumaru thing. One twin is sitting out there slaving away making One Piece, and the other twin is out there exploring the world and doing all these the references, right? And I don't know which twin has a family, but maybe we get triplets. Maybe that's the case, right? Like they're identical triplets, and hey, it's not unheard of.
Ooh, what if one of them transcended humanity and became Quartzark?
Oh my God.
Yeah. God, I love it. But we do know that
it's called cryptophagia. Cryptophagia is the phenomenon of a language developed by twins, identical or fraternal. I thought it was identical. That only the two children can understand. That is an actual thing, cryptophagia.
Okay, how common is cryptophagia? Twins are regularly reported to invent languages of their own.
50% of young twins.
It says autonomous languages exist in about 40% of all twins, but often disappear.
Yeah, disappear. That's the main thing, is that they don't usually keep it up because then they realize, like, because the thing is, so this is kind of how I remember I rationalized it.